Okay, so some of you might already be familiar with the F-150 Lightning, but I thought it'd be worthwhile to do a bit of a walk around and give you an overview of the truck and all of the different features. And to remember, this is one of the few right-hand drive versions in the world, thanks to a local Queensland company called AusEV, who are doing the conversions right here, employing Australians and using a large percentage of locally sourced material to do these conversions, which is absolutely awesome. Okay, so starting at the front, the F-150 Lightning has its unmistakable light bar right across the top, which is quite different to the standard petrol F-150. You can see that where in a combustion engine vehicle you would have an air intake. Here we've got a blanked off grille. There is in fact still the need to bring air in to cool down a radiator that sends coolant around the battery and electric motor system, and so you've actually got some air flaps and a radiator down the bottom to do that. But in comparison to being needing to cool down an engine that's literally got small explosions in it multiple times a second, that cooling demand is much lower. We've also of course got some recovery points on the front, which is great. Every four-wheel drive always if you're pushing it, finds its limit. And so good to be able to have those there to pull you out if that happens. We've also got a frunk. So this is a mega frunk. You can open it from the key fob. So we'll give that a click right now, and it's automated, which is nice. There's a bit of stuff in here, some recovery gear and a pump for putting up the tyres and also letting them down. You've got power outlets in here, your 12-volt battery behind. You've got a bit of storage down in here, so you've got a charger. You can actually fill this all up with ice and use it as an ice bucket as well. There's a nice drain there. Often when I'm cleaning it out, I'll just hose the whole lot down and run it down into there. And you've also even got lights up the top, which is really helpful for particularly if you're camping and there's no other light source around. Pretty much this little blue lid is your maintenance, your regular maintenance of having to top that up to keep your windscreen fluid up. Alright, so coming around to the side, as you know, it's a ute, a pickup, but this is a full-size pickup. So as opposed to other utes we're maybe more familiar with in Australia, you've got quite a bit more space in that rear cab. We'll have a look in a separate video at the interior, but apart from that, it's got four wheels and running boards and a tray, but it's all personal preference, but I think it looks pretty awesome. Over here we've got the actual charge port. So in here you've got at the top your type 2 Menekes, which is just for your AC charging, mainly at home, or maybe if you're at a longer stay somewhere. And then you've got a flap for your fast DC charging. And it's worth noting, again, kudos to the team at AusEV. There's their logo. They have done the hard engineering work to convert this over to be compatible with the Australian standard, which is this CCS2 Type 2 in the US. It's a different standard, and so you know, they've had to do the work to do that conversion, and I've now been able to test this on a number of different charging networks, and you know, see for itself that it works really well. So I'm super happy. Probably the only other thing to note here is you've got a button to unlock the cable when it's plugged into the vehicle. That's just, you know, a bit of a security thing, and then this kind of you know, pie sections around that button represent 20% of charge. So when it's plugged in, it blinks in the section of charge that it's up to. So, you know, a nice little added feature, so you know where you are at a glance. We'll do a separate video showing it charging, and you can get a sense for it for yourself. These aren't the tyres or wheels that came with the vehicle. As part of our kind of field testing, we're getting a sense of what the efficiency changes are between having, you know, highway tyres, which is what it came with, and something, you know, more suitable for you know, a mix of off-road and on-road. These are some more aggressive all-terrain tyres, which we've then, you know, reduced the wheel size to give that bit of extra wall clearance for when we do some you know, more off-road work, just to, you know, give that extra bit of safety margin. It's worth noting as well, these are actually a little bit bigger in diameter overall compared to the stock wheel and tyre package, just so that we can give it a bit more ground clearance. We have had a lift, a 50mm lift at the front, because actually, yeah, that's probably one thing to note when you're at the side here. This vehicle now is pretty level. When you buy a lot of these utes, because they're designed to carry quite a big load in the back, they actually sit down a bit at the front. I think it also helps with the aerodynamics, but it can look a bit strange, and obviously you lose a bit of clearance at the front. So this has been lifted at the front, and you know, when the aftermarket parts are available, we may look at doing something to lift it further as well if needed. But so far, I'm really happy with how it's travelling, and particularly getting some good experience and good data from using these more aggressive tyres. Hard to miss probably the rack and solar on the back. We'll be doing separate videos on that, but just to say, yeah, we've got this kitted out at the moment to do some testing on, you know, what level of solar could you fit on a vehicle like this, and how could it act as a bit of a solar jerry can, as I call it, to give you some redundancy when you're off-road. Of course, a handy shovel if you need to dig yourself out from somewhere, and on the other side we've got some recovery boards. We'll go around there. These are some older ones that I had from a previous vehicle, and yeah, we'll once, you know, who knows how often we'll have to use them, but if we eventually scrub them, we'll get some other ones. And then yeah, we've got some decals on the back here. You know, if you're driving behind this thing, many people wouldn't at first glance know that it's fully electric. We really want to promote that that's what this vehicle is. I think it kind of helps to push back from you know, those years gone by where there were claims about not being able to get these types of vehicles in an electric drivetrain. So we really want to promote that this is now, this isn't the future, this is what's available right now. And the other big point for me is a reason that I converted to electric, you know, 7-8 years ago, not only because I've been, you know, working in this space, and I think it's important, you know, you practice what you preach, but for me, we're highly dependent in Australia on foreign oil, and by switching to electric, we can be powered by by 100% Australian-made energy, and I think, you know, all political parties can get behind that, to have that national security, not be dependent on imported fuel, and also not be sending tens of billions of dollars overseas each year. Instead, we can charge using Australian electricity and be pumping that money back into our local economy, supporting local jobs. Not too much different on the driver's side, you know, pretty much the same. There is a fake flap at the front. There isn't another charge point behind there. It's just to, you know, kind of balance it out. Yeah, otherwise that's what we're looking at. So let's have a bit of a sneak peek into the tray as well. So this is actually an electric tray. You press the button and sometimes it gives you a warning just to make sure you definitely want it. And then you've got quite a big storage capacity in here. We've got a few different you know, items in here at the moment that we're prototyping and testing. These are by no means finished. It's all in the prototype phase, but we've got our battery back there that we're testing for being able to charge up off the solar and then be able to export that energy to charge the car up when we're off grid. We've got a bit of a camping drawer and a fridge slide as well, and then there's an electric roller cover on the top, which you can control from the remote. We can open that up as well and get a sense. We were only at Fraser Island last weekend, so we're still cleaning up, but yeah, at least from a distance you wouldn't know. It's been working hard the last week. And yeah, you've also got some cool features built in to the back here. So some clamp holders. These are on most you know, F-150s, but great that they're included on this vehicle as well. And you've even got a built-in step, and just for a bit of extra safety, you can have a handrail as well for being able to get in and out. It is a bit of a height increase. You know, some people say they just jump up and down, but I think it's actually quite good. So yeah, that's the back of the tray, and pretty much the outside of this vehicle. Okay, so to wrap things up, I'll just show you, it is an electric tailgate, so we can press on the key fob and it will close itself, which is handy as well, particularly if you've got your hands full, or you're you know, needing a hand to lift it up, not putting your back out every time. This vehicle is also equipped with a max towing kit, so that means that it can tow up to 4.5 tonne. That's a tonne more than the average ute, so pretty impressive. We haven't been able to fully load it up with that just yet. That'll be coming later in 2025 to test it out, understand, you know, how that affects the dynamics and the efficiency, of course. But it's got the capability to do that, and even more interesting is that Ford actually built in a second cooling loop into this vehicle to separate the air conditioning from the drivetrain if you know, have that max towing capacity, and that's really because you can imagine if you load it up at 4.5 tonne, that's going to put more demand on the electric motors and the battery, and so you're going to need more cooling, and so their way to do that is to build in this additional cooling loop, which I think is really interesting and great to see, and really means that the vehicle's kept you know, in those optimum conditions even when you're towing at heavy loads. So yeah, that's about it for the overview of the vehicle. We're really impressed with the capability that we're seeing so far. This is the only fully electric four-wheel drive in Australia right now. Many more are coming, but we wanted to get our hands on one of these to be able to test it out, understand what it means, and also see how more people might be able to get behind one as a rental. You really can't do that on a desktop study. You need to be able to get the vehicle and get the raw data to get all the costs and the capabilities mapped out. So that's what we're doing. It's pretty exciting, and a huge shout out to Aussie V, the local company here in Brisbane that are doing the conversion. We'll have a separate video on that conversion, but I can say in short it's flawless. Unless you pointed it out, you really wouldn't know. And they're just doing a great job employing local Australians to do that work, and also sourcing a lot of the conversion components here in Australia. I think what's really disappointing is that we're not seeing governments buy these vehicles. If we're really going to have advancement in terms of Australian made, we have to buy vehicles and have the demand there, so that we're doing more than just simply digging out the materials and shipping them overseas. So that's a huge target, but it's something that governments can do. Governments buy vehicles, and it's about time that we put in place the demand to make sure that we can move down the value chain and support Australian made. Okay, so that's a wrap on the F-150 Lightning, or one of the few right-hand drive vehicles of this kind in the world. For all those kind of naysayers out there doubting that there's electric utes, I've got one right here. It's got over 7,000 kilometers on it already. We're doing some awesome testing with it, and there's many more out there, particularly in the mining sector, that are doing a great job in starting to adopt these vehicles. As I've been saying, we've got a lot more work to do in Australia in being able to move down the EV value chain. We could be building vehicles like this in the future. It's not going to happen overnight, but the first step is to start to buy these vehicles, to create the market conditions so we can invest in developing batteries and developing chassis to be able to have particularly electric trucks and buses in the first instance, but vehicles of many shapes and sizes in the future. We've got a lot of work to do. I think we're heading in the right direction over the past couple of years, but we're nowhere near where we need to be, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on the other side of the federal election this year. All I have to say is, regardless of your political stripes and colours, I think we should all be getting behind vehicles that are powered by 100% Australian-made energy. Whether you are a supporter of coal, gas, nuclear or renewables, these vehicles are powered off all of them, made here in Australia, supporting local energy jobs and saving those tens of billions of dollars from going overseas to buy foreign oil. Again, we know we can't make the switch overnight, but we've got to start now. We're behind the 8 ball, and this should be bipartisan across the aisle, that we need to be able to make that transition, support people through that process, and support Australian made. So let's hope that's where we end up, and we continue to head in that direction. But in the meantime, we're going to be continuing to post all the fascinating things that we learn about this vehicle, putting it through its different environments and field testing it, and sharing that with you. Of course, if you have any questions, please reach out, and we'll do our best to try and incorporate that into the work we're doing. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos, and thanks again for tuning in.